ATB-TV for this week, the Anzac Day as we sit here, and got rid of Darren Dance and brought in a special guest, Mitch Freedman, who's been on board with us for probably the last 4 or 5 months with horses. Mitch, welcome, and thanks for the chat. I know it's a busy time in a trainer's life every day, but you're heading to Murray later today, so to give us 15 minutes, thanks for that.
No problems at all. It's good to be involved with Darren Dance and his crew, and it's got a good feeling about it, and happy to lend a hand when I can.
No worries. We've got some results to go through. I'll get to that just briefly, just to give everyone a snapshot of Mitch Freedman. Obviously, you've been a trainer in your own right for about 5 years, would that be right?
Yeah, it's round figures, I'll say about 5 years.
5 years, yeah. Your first interest in horses, how did that evolve? Not from a racing family?
No, grandfather was sort of a bookmaker,
yeah.
So I spent a lot of time at the races or watching races. So had a good understanding and a good involvement from the racing side of things, yep, from a real young age,
yep,
and then got involved in the horse side of things when I sort of got to sort of 14 and 15, and while I was going through school, working part-time and holidays and whenever I could get out there, I could drove the parents mad having to drive me around here, there and everywhere at ungodly hours, but good fun and really enjoy it, and pleased to be out on my own. So
there's definitely a genetic bug there that just was ignited from the grandfather's, you know.
Yeah, and obviously the old man was involved, yeah, in his business too,
yep,
so it was,
yep,
just something that grew on me and kept,
yep,
working towards it.
Pushing forward, obviously you had, and probably played a big part of where you are now, involved with Darren Weir as foreman down at Warrnambool.
Yeah.
Was it 2 or 3 years that would have been?
Yeah, definitely. I worked with him in Ballarat for a period of time as well, and also down in Warrnambool. Yep. Took off overseas and travelled and did all that sort of, ticked, yep, all the boxes. Obviously my time there was terrific. When we were sort of there in the early times, he didn't have a lot of metropolitan class or group class horses, and they slowly come along as I was there. So yeah, that was even a really good thing to see, just that transition period, and obviously very helpful for my career, getting me going in the early stages.
Now you can be modest here, Mitch. You were the trainer of Presidents to Lou, not Darren Weir. Obviously he was the banner horse at the time. You said that he probably kicked off those A-grade horses coming through at Warrnambool. That was exciting times.
Oh, definitely. I think he was one of the horses that probably really spurred things along down there at Forest Lodge, and yeah, I've spent a lot of time with that horses, and it's good to have some of his progeny now coming through our stable.
I do remember one morning, might have went after his PB Lawrence win when Greg Miles was famous call it his swanning to victory, and I was down the beach that next morning and we got some photos which I'll pop up shortly, but yeah, he was a horse that should have won a Group 1.
Oh, definitely. He had Group 1 ability, never quite got there, but he battled a lot of soundness issues, yeah, in his time, even with the aid of the beach. He battled with those, and it was probably a reason why they sold him overseas. A bit of later research, you find out these little things along the way, and it was good that he did what he did and got things rolling for me as well, and unfortunately he didn't quite climb those heights, but he was very close on a number of occasions. Very exciting horse, and Glenn Boss doing all the stuff Glenn Boss does when he wins races.
Just moving forward now, we're in Ballarat. Obviously you're set up here, you're roughly trained 50 horses now. Those numbers increased rapidly about 3 months ago, but the move from Warrnambool to Ballarat, obviously foresight thinking this is the place to be for different reasons.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously got a young family now. Yep. Warrnambool was struggling with a lot of issues with beach access, and probably still an issue down there, and hopefully that for those guys down there they can get that resolved and get things moving forward that way. But we just struggled with a little bit of security there. Had a lovely house and a lovely property down there, but I just decided I'd rather do it then and there and get the move to Ballarat happening. Yeah. You could read the play with Caulfield. Yeah. There was murmurs around that Caulfield wouldn't be around forever, and I just knew that Ballarat would be in demand in the not too distant future. Yep. And it's obviously very central to a lot of racetracks, so I like that side of it. I love the training facilities here. Got a terrific setup with our stables as well. The horses eat here, they're happy here, and race well out of here. So it's been a really good move, and it's something that I take tremendous pride in doing, and there was a risk that we had to take, and I'm glad it's starting to reap the benefits now.
Obviously a big point of difference is the hill track, which is always getting mentions when there's winners at Ballarat. It's obviously used as part of your training regime heavily.
Yeah, definitely. Hill track's a solid part of our routine. It's not only the hill, it's also the time you spend on their backs. We've had a lot of good results with sort of staying bred horses or staying horses since we've been in Ballarat, and sort of attribute that time in the saddle and all that, just long, slow striding work that you can put into them here.
I'll just roll back to the Darren Weir, because obviously where he was, through his unfortunate circumstances, he was very complimentary of yourself and telling us that horses should come here, and we did get 6 or 7 horses here. Is there anything, I mean obviously you worked under different people, but was there anything that you just dragged along that you learnt from Weir that's something you implement to today?
There are a number of things, it's the basics to feeding them and the everyday care for them, whether it be the shoeing or there's just a lot of things you picked up along the way from him, whether it be the young horses being broken in or the old horses, the way that you should be working them. There's a lot of things you dragged out of there. There's some things you left behind. It's like all places you go to when you're learning to train, you take the things that you want and leave the other things behind.
Yep. Big point from me, and not all trainers can do it, but the fact that you can get on all your horses and get a feel for them, that's obviously something that for you gives you a great guide. Yeah,
definitely. Obviously, it makes it a bit hard at times when you're riding them. You sort of miss a couple of the other ones, but definitely like to sort of ride 4 or 5 for the morning, have a feel for a certain few horses, whether one, a rider might report to you that the horse either doesn't feel right mentally or physically, and it's a good opportunity for me to jump on, have a feel, see what I think, and you get another opinion, and it's something that I won't be giving up in a hurry, that's for sure.
Just quickly touch on numbers, 50 odd in work in one time now?
Yeah, 50 odd in work. We sort of always had somewhere between 30 and 40 in work, and we've just grown a bit, but as I said, we had the right systems in place to handle any number increases, and they still stand up well now.
Obviously staff, that would have increased with that as well. What numbers have you got?
Yeah, definitely. We've got some really talented horse people within the stable, some really good riders, and some of them have ridden at high levels, whether it be one of my foremans, a saddle bronc rider, and some of them are former jockeys. So it's that really good horse people that we've got around us that helps the stable run smoother.
Beautiful. We'll quickly run in, because we're going to get to 20 minutes quick. We'll chat all day. Our results from last week, now I just can't remember whether we touched on Oceania with our video last week. He was a good winner. Finally, it's one of the valuable Snitzel colts we bought. Jamie Mott got him across the line. We also had Foxy, which obviously is under your care now. She was terrific over the 12, and just looks like she cried out for 14.
Yeah, it looks that way. The winner of that race went out and ran last night and seemed to run quite well there. She just, when she was angling for a run, she's still just probably learning her craft a little bit more around other horses. The race was there to be won, and she just was a bit slow to take that run. And then once she got clear air the last 100, she really let rip down to the line. So I was pleased to see that, and looking forward to stepping her out over 1400 at the next start.
Yep. The following day we had Collectible, our 3-year-old Sebring filly, ran 3rd. Craig Williams, probably no fault of his own, just got caught up in a bit of traffic. Lost his spot early, caught up on traffic on the home turn, finished off for 3rd. I think the 2 ahead of him, along with her and a couple others, heading to the SA Oaks. So she's on target for that. Following day, I went to Warwick. Here's one that probably surprised us a little. Ran some money. He was terrific first up, running 2nd, would have won on another.
Yeah, definitely. If he had sort of been able to just take up a slightly more forward spot, he probably wins the race. He was terrific. He'd been okay in his jump outs without asking too much of an effort. He was on the way back from an injury, so we just got to be pretty gentle with his galloping in his trials. Put the blinkers on race day, or left them on from his previous runs, and he rocketed to the line the last bit. Probably not the way you want to be ridden or winning at Warwick, but he was terrific and pulled up well too.
Yep. So we'll be following the race for him. Probably step him out a little bit.
Just slightly, the 13 or 1400, and give him a little bit of time between first and second up.
It was about 260 or 80 days between runs, obviously off a tendon injury, so...
Yeah.
Astrological, I went to stall, she was even. Just don't know where we sit with her. There's probably a couple of them crossroads. They're all looking at each other at the moment, a couple here and a couple at other stables. Look, we probably can go back in grade and maybe claim with her, but yeah, we'll leave that to Archie to sort out. I'm not too sure plans there. Something different, Mitch, we had one at Cork in Ireland, Melburnian, second start for us, raced in the same interest as Heartbreak City and actually a half sister. Second start for us, 3200 metre hurdles. First start she was out at the back, typical, this is the way they train them. The first hurdle start was just there to just have a look at them. Made a bit of ground the last couple hundred. This one it was stepped up a little bit and bar for bungling the last jump would have ran fourth, but believe it or not, this is preparation for her flat career. So we'll just wait and see. I don't know where the next step is, but yeah, ran a much improved race.
Doing things in reverse.
Yeah, well, Heartbreak City, you know, he was over the jumps and that. And, yeah, she goes boom with Tony Gollan, ran third. Look, she's just struggling to win a maiden up there, and we know where she sits. The owners have been briefed about either exiting her or maybe heading further up north to the Rockhamptons and places like that. So that's all been chatted about at the moment. Back to you, Mitch. Captain Harry yesterday, fourth. Yeah, just give us your thoughts there.
Yeah, he's a bit of a tricky horse. He's only a small horse, so we'd like to try and race him up in class a little bit. We thought we'd found the right race for him there at Wangaratta yesterday. Two things, he went out to the mile for the first time for the prep, bombed the start, and then they went very slow, and he just wanted to get on with the job sort of in the middle stages a little bit. Probably just cost him finishing off a bit more solid. That second run to the mile next time, I would expect to see him improve again. Just a matter of finding the right race for him.
I think that the over racing time looked like he was going to run second clearly, and just that last 100 got a bit wobbly.
Yeah, and that's what happens. You know, they get the heart rate up when they're over racing and spend energy unnecessarily. And yeah, there's a race in him, and just got to work out the right one.
No worries. Now, last night I didn't get there for Whitewall's race, but 16 start maiden turned into a winner. Ethan Brown rolled to the front when there was no pace, rolled off the fence, where a lot were doing last night. We were probably better 2, 3 and 4 off. And Jamie Carr poked up along the inside because she rode Misty See You Later. I thought she's going to knock us off here, what she can do later. But anyway, thanks to Jamie Mott, who suggested to get the blinkers off and put the visors on, you could feel that horse up the inside of him, and he responded. So well done to the owners. It's a long time coming. I think he's got 7 placings, which consists of about 5 seconds along with his win. But you do see sometimes these horses can then come out and win again. So
it's sometimes just a matter of getting the mix right. You know, whether it be blinkers, visors, whether it be up in trip, back in trip, riding quiet, riding on speed. You know, sometimes some of them, when you say they're mentally slow, it's also us working them out.
That's a fair point. Yeah, because there's been lots of gear changes and lots of distance changes, but you know, the 1300-1400 visors, that, you know, the go. Misty C, we spoke off camera. We're a bit disappointed with the finish of the race with him.
Yeah, I thought he had excuses last time around at Bendigo. Strong enough race going in there last night, but I thought Jamie Carr switched him off beautiful throughout, which is something he's probably been lacking doing in a few starts. And travelled into the race like he was going to really let rip. Probably did for 150, 200 metres, and then he was just very reluctant to go late. So we need to reassess him, probably change things around a little bit at home and just try and get the mix right with him. Maybe a case of coming back in trip slightly and also maybe putting the blinkers back on and taking the winkers off. So they're things we'll work through and try and find another race for him.
And we could obviously packing on 64s can be tough. Strong races.
Tough enough, yeah. He's just a bit of a tricky horse. He's sort of hard to deal with at home and a little bit hard to deal with at home and in his races. But I thought Jamie did a terrific job of getting him to switch off, but he just wasn't, you know, he was found wanting late.
Hang in there, owners. We've so we can pull a rabbit out of the hat with him. So that's our runner. So a couple of winners, which is good, and horses that ran well, and obviously a couple from here, which is pleasing. Going forward today, I'll head down to Flemington. We've got Igniter in a race that's really a stepping stone for the rest of his prep. He's 50 to 1 in a 1400 metre race second up, so probably not expecting a lot, but he did run a big race there at a big price during the spring, so you can probably top 5 or top 6. There's another one of our expensive schnitzels that needs to put his foot up a little more. As my phone goes off again. That was Dancy ringing too at the start of the program. Dancy, one of your pet aids. Safety dance runs for the hay stable tomorrow at what do they call it? Spendthrift Park, which is Werribee. He's a horse again that's probably just where are we with him? Tried to get him out over a trip. Doesn't look like he'd run it. Fresh enough back to a mile. Lewis German on. You had much to do with Lewis. Claims 1.5.
A little bit, yeah. Yep.
So 61.5 back to 60 and a 58. He's got to be, if he's not winning, he's got to be finishing in the top 3 to sort of warrant pushing on. Now, I've got, as we sit here, the acceptances for early next week aren't through. Does sale come out today or tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
I've got Condo Hall there, but...
yeah, a mile to 2200 will stretch him a bit. We just sort of threw a few knobs around, but there's a 2,000 metre race coming up for him in the not too distant future.
Yep. Now, Angel Lass from the Griffith stable won a trial well 10 days ago. She's definitely heading there. Other nominations, Tycoon Griffo. Lady Macfie's in Angel Lass's race, but she'll, from what I'm hearing, will need another week or so to get over a hard first up run. Tycoon Griffo's ready to go, could go to sale. And I'm pretty sure Oceanity won't go there, but they're all names, and unfortunately I'll have this program out before tomorrow's acceptances, so just read the newsletter for an update there. And the carnival next week, Mitch.
Yeah.
We probably will go in light, I reckon, as ATB. We'll have Connery on the middle day, who trialled well at Stall yesterday, but look, we need rain for him. He's a horse that's got issues with his knees, so got a lot of ability, but just after his little issues at the end of the previous prep, he's just finding it hard, to get the fitness in him, because you've got to gallop him on the firm surfaces and then keeping him sound as well. But he's probably one we'll definitely have there. Nice shining choice. Maddie's trying to get. It's hard to get 58 riders into 64 races. It's almost impossible.
Yeah.
So there's Horsham's the option there after that. And Silver Stratum, well, it just needs 3 inches of rain before we consider going there. He more than likely will go to Bendigo next Friday.
Condo Hall will be also nominated on that Thursday in the 64 2000, but he's back to a 58 now too, so he might be struggling to get it.
You've almost got to be at the benchmark rating, don't you, or a point or 2 under.
Yeah.
Probably the distance race is just a little bit more chance of getting a run than...
Yeah, definitely, and you're a chance of getting a run in a higher rating race, but you've got to compete with better horses, so it's a bit tricky.
It's not a bad thing too. I reckon the carnival's such a focus and people go there. I reckon races prior and after you can actually go to diluted fields and diluted quality of field.
Yeah, definitely, even sort of up to a week to 10 days after the carnival. It might not, with the way the weather looks, it might not be as taxing there, but usually it takes the horses at Warrnambool 2 or 3 weeks to get over that and go from there.
Not many going to back up in 7 days either, so we get our smart trainers to do all that work and find the right races. So that covers it. If I've missed anything, it'll be in the newsletter. Well, look, not too much more, Mitch. Obviously, you spoke of family and Jenna and young Meg. That was just one the other day.
Yeah.
The balance of a trainer and family life must be hard.
It is.
Obviously, Jenna's probably count the cash. Obviously involved from an admin point of view.
Yeah, it doesn't take her long to count the cash, I'll tell you.
Not too much group.
But she's involved heavily in the business. So yesterday she came for a trip up to Wangaratta with Meg, and there's some time you get to spend with them, even though you're out and about. But it's obviously tricky, but it's working okay for us at the moment. And obviously that was part of moving to Ballarat with just a bit less time spent on the road.
Just from a point of view, Mitch Freedman and ATB, what's the biggest thing you think you can offer us and our owners? Communications is huge this time, and we've been impressed with what you've been putting out to us. That's something you really have your finger on the pulse with. Yeah,
obviously we sort of surveyed our personal owners not long ago, and just sort of wanted to get a feel for what their thoughts on were with our business. And some of the feedback, we said, do you want an update? once every 2 days, or do you want an update weekly, or do you want an update fortnightly? And you know, the feedback we got was people want to hear weekly updates. Now, it doesn't usually matter too much whether it's an audio or a written or a visual. They just want to hear what's going on. So I try and make sure I sit down at least once a week. And then obviously when you're racing, your pre-race, post-race sort of stuff as well.
And when I'm talking a stable that grew to 600 numbers with Weary, which obviously Darren Dance had probably 40% of his horses there. What we're loving is actual pre-race and post-race thoughts, and I think the owners, the feedback we're getting is just hearing it and your thoughts. You obviously put a lot of time into studying the races, and you understand where your horse is and where they fit into the race. That's something you really put a lot of emphasis on.
Yeah, definitely, and we also get a bit of outside help with assessing fields and speed maps, and then also just assessing performances post-race as well. So it all works in. I think that's probably one of the most important things about training, is knowing where your horses sit and where they're suited to running. So that's something we work pretty hard at, and I think you know, you can sort of tell by the way things are tracking along that we're doing it the right way.
Just numbers, how many winners roughly?
23 for the season. Now, the only reason why I know that straight off the bat is every year we're trying to just get a couple more winners, and we've levelled up with last season now with a good bit of time remaining. So pleased to see that happen, and hopefully before the end of the season we can squeeze a few more in.
A couple of ATBs, you're right too. So the little targets, you reassess every year and just try and raise the bar a little bit without, you know, just working with what you got and more winners, I suppose.
Yeah, definitely, and you know, we talk about this stuff with reviewing, you know, surveying our owners and that sort of stuff, and when we grew in numbers rapidly, we've undertaken a business, you know, it's just assessment, and just started a bit of a business plan, and you're really turning things into getting by week to week to really trying to build a brand and build a business that way. So that's something we've focused on pretty heavily, and you know, it's not all about setting goals of how many winners you can get. It's about pleasing your clients and making sure they're enjoying the service we're providing, because at the end of the day, it's an entertainment industry, and if it's not entertaining, someone will go and buy a boat or do whatever else they want to do.
Fair point, and it's true. Obviously, as I look up at Science to Learn, I think you'd left Weary when Dan Dino come along for us.
Yeah, he was racing under another trainer, Marco Potti, when I was at Weirs, and then obviously I think he might have even went back and come back again, and had an injury, and I'd left there, but I was still in Warrnambool and had just a little bit to do with observing him anyway, and seeing how he went about his things.
Yeah, no, well obviously now we're in the process of, we've got 8 or 9 yearlings and 3 or 4 of him, and it brings me to the next question. Do you get more enjoyment out of getting a stayer to win a race, or a sprinter, or is it just, you know, winners are winners, but is it more, there's more work in a stayer? Or is it?
I just think you've got more of a chance sometimes with the staying horses, because in the sprinting races it's pretty simple. If you're not fast enough, you're not fast enough. But staying horses, you get them in the right frame of mind, and get them feeling well in themselves, and get them fit, and get them racing well and in good form. You can probably win more races than their ability allows you to. But that's something that you've got to concentrate on. It takes time to do it, but you know, if you do put that time in, you can sometimes reap far greater rewards than what you would with a sprinter.
Tango Bravo has been a banner horse for yours. What's he up to at the moment?
Yeah, he's off having a spell. He probably hadn't had a good spell in 12, 14 months, so he's he comes back in early May, but he's been a good horse for us. He was stakes place in his 3rd start, and bought by us at the yearling sales as well, so that gives you good confidence that you're buying the right stock, and he's a nice horse, and hopefully he can continue. You know, he got lost there in the wilderness for a little bit.
Yeah, we said the best for him last prep.
Yeah, he got back in form, and I don't know whether he'll probably ever live up to the early expectations I had with him, but he's certainly back in form and going well.
Palomino, or whatever you pronounce it, Johnny Richards' horse, flying, Terrain Crut winner last start.
Yeah, no, she's been a really good acquisition to the stable. We probably had to warn with her. Originally we were planning to go to the Tuesday, the 78 race, but she just climbed the ratings and probably just kept on stepping up.
Yep.
She seems in really good shape, and she's only got to have a little spin around the course proper on Sunday to tick all the boxes.
Beautiful. Well, Mitch, look, appreciate your time. I know you're heading to Maui today as Anzac Day, no public holidays in racing. Good luck today. Thanks for your time. And look, I know we're in the voting process with a lot of our yearlings, and we're wrapped with what Mitch has provided us with. I think half a dozen might have come over quickly from Weary, and I think while there's a couple we're sort of treading water with, the other four are all, if they haven't won, they're heading in the right direction to win. And things hopefully can just continue to grow. And don't forget Mitch if you're thinking about an up-and-coming trainer that's obviously been guided by the best and forging a great career himself. So thanks for your time, Mitch, and good luck for the future. And hopefully it's an ATB one as well.
Yeah, no worries. Appreciate it. Thanks, Morgs.